Yesterday, we participated in a really interesting event looking at marine and coastal restoration and looking at bridging the gap between policy and delivery. The event was co-organized between the European Topic Centre of the University of Malaga to IUCN Med and from MedWet on behalf of the Biodiversity Consortium of the Mediterranean. We looked at a number of different projects that are delivering excellent work on the ground, ranging from kind of policy recommendations to best practice in science to awareness raising and engagement. And you will hear now from some of those people who were involved in that. And we hope you find it as useful as we did.
So through Restore Proceeds, we have been able to delineate and understand more where coastal wetland ecosystems are in Europe and part of the Mediterranean and in which conditions they are, proving that the condition of these very important and sensitive ecosystems is not okay and that there is a tendency of further degradation. And therefore, it's a very important message to upscale restoration and make that restoration as quick as possible. So restoring sensitive ecosystems that are mainly the coastal habitats in the region is very important, and leveraging funding to ensure a quick and upscaling of the restoration is key. The project has emphasized on opportunities that blended finance scheme can provide through the carbon certifications, certainly engaging private sector companies to contribute to restoration projects at different levels in the region.
With a MedWet network, with our members and particularly with small NPAs, like mine, because I'm a manager of an NPA in the south of France, we can just say that for their solution, we need absolutely to be linked to the science. We need absolutely to have monitoring on long terms, and we need also to have big context, close context with stakeholders in order to share that, maybe on the platform at the regional level, in order to achieve for example, the action plan for the restoration that we need for ecosystem and marine and coastal ecosystems in the Mediterranean.
According to our national and international commitments, restoration is one of our strategic objectives to comply our international targets for global biodiversity framework and go for 30 by 30. So we started with a rescue project with our project for restoration of Barcelona wetland, which is one of important wetlands in Egypt. It's dedicated as a Ramsar site protected area and international bird area, and it has a unique biodiversity and habitats. And so rescue projects support us for implementation of nature-based solution and also raise awareness for the community and local communities living around the Barcelona wetlands of the importance of its ecosystem service. We need to have nature-based solution for resilience, for climate, and also for the community living around the wetlands.
One of the key elements that I have highlighted yesterday regarding this project is the fact that we are developing standardized tools to assess the ecosystem services provided by wetland. We are focusing our effort on two main ecosystem services: carbon and greenhouse gases sequestration capacity by wetlands, and flood regulation service provided by wetlands. And what we can learn from this project that these solutions that we are developing to monitor, to map, and to assess and to quantify these ecosystem services are standardized and could be replicable from the pilot sites where we are working. We have 5 pilot sites to other pilot sites and river basins. And all this information and data will also be integrated into a regional Mediterranean knowledge hub on the wetlands, called the Mediterranean Wetlands Geoportal, and this tool will be also used for the transfer and the dissemination of these results, and also to facilitate and promote their replication in other pilot sites and also in other countries.
So MedPan is one of the partners of the West Coast project, a European funded project, and actually we have 2 main components. One technical, in order to support capacity building on restoration, through training workshop, but as well as guidelines. And the other component is the policy one, because actually we need to express what is needed at the policy level in order to support effective restoration. So in this regard,
we have translated in, I would say, more accessible words the European Natural Restoration Regulation in order to explain to our community of practice what does it mean for them, and what does it mean for local decision makers, for instance. And we have developed, with our dear colleagues of IUCN Med, a series of policy recommendations in order to support, again, the policy uptake from the national to the national European level. So since we are attending this conference of part 2 of the Barcelona Convention, one of the key messages we want to convey from a policy point of view is the need for a regional action plan reiteration, why it is needed. It's very much needed in order to coordinate different action in terms of restoration in the region, in order to ensure there are a current way, share of best practices, and thus to be more effective, particularly when it comes to restoration at a transnational level. So we do need a regional, a Mediterranean restoration plan on restoration.
So yesterday I had the pleasure to represent MedWet and the Mediterranean Biodiversity Consortium to talk about the importance of providing policy recommendations to upgrade restoration of coastal ecosystem at the forefront of climate change. And I presented a few recommendations, especially to ask the Barcelona Convention and the relevant rights to develop a regional action plan for coastal ecosystem, and especially to give the means to go from policy recommendation to effective implementation on the ground.
As clear recap, there is a call for action coming out of this side events, meaning the need for a regional action plan on restoration. This should be part of a joint exercise where indeed multi-stakeholder participation and multi-level governance would be at the core. Of course, we have to look for financial resources to support the process, and of course we can, first of all, look at what is already available in projects to current activities, while at the same time in parallel fundraising for any additional need that we might envisage. The idea would be to have the action plan fully recognized in any future framework events, namely either the UFM Ministerial Declaration or the future Barcelona Convention COP and any other appropriate setting.